Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We've got another extraneous little army here. I think I am... Let me see. These units are mostly hired. I'm going to remove these, and these are going to go to the the third Portuguese army. Or, sorry, I'm going to disband this army. These units are going to go to the third Portuguese army, and I'm going to call this army... I'm going to rename this army the Army of East Africa. Going to confirm that. And maybe at some point we'll turn this into a proper army, but for now it'll just be where it is. So let's see, I got 12 infamy. I'm going down in cash. So let's take some time to do what we're doing. I'm noticing that we're a little short of fertilizer. I think part of the reason for that is that our a Unify Ethiopia event. That's fun, so we may get pulled into that if necessary. Actually, no, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's take a look at the war goals. I think one of the reasons why we're short of fertilizer is because our what do you call them? Our ranches, our livestock ranches, are not profitable right now. And part of the reason they're not profitable is because we are there's not a lot of demand for meat in the customs union. So let's get exporting meat to the Qing market. And we'll set this to encourage exports to help with that. I think we're also a little short on convoys, so I'm going to grab one of my ports and swap it over to being a cargo port. And I'll put the one in North Angola over to being a cargo port. That should give us a few extra convoys to play with. Conscription centers and barracks we'll put over to general training. And that should help out with that situation. Let me see. Next, I want to... Let me see. I've got a bunch of industrial growth I want to do. But I also want to increase tooling because... Wait. I can increase tooling already. Excellent. I didn't align production methods, so let's take a quick look at what production methods are still needing to be aligned here. It's just fig orchards from millet farms. We got logging camps on simple forestry in Zanzibar. And let me see. Tea plantations are on rail transport. I'm going to remove that. Alright, so we got management to do. There we go. Or no, that's not. Anyway, logging camps, sawmills, definitely needed. Tea plantations, road carts. Transvaal has the population. Yeah, it does. And we still have an option. Yeah, it's for the millet farms. And then what about here? Food industries and millet farms need to be looked at. Alright. So... Sweeteners, I'm going to put you to prioritize grocery production. I think that just makes sense. Liquor's pretty cheap in our customs union. Groceries are pretty cheap in our customs union too, though. Maybe they should be using making liquor. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we're goofing up their prioritization here. In this area, we'll do the same. And tooling workshops, we already reset. And we're using fishing trawlers in Zanzibar. How's the price of clippers? Are clippers expensive? Nah, they're fine. So you can keep using fishing trawlers. In fact, well, I can't do too many on fishing trawlers because that's going to cost me a bunch of clippers. And that's going to mess up the cost. So we'll leave that as it is for now. We will want to upgrade those eventually, but that's a much lower priority. Let's see what else we've got in terms of our reset production methods. Cargo port to anchorage, cargo port to anchorage. Don't need to change those. And then we got... Alright, sounds good. I'm actually going to grab the food industries in Beira and set them to pot stills as well. We'll set that going and we'll see how that impacts the market. Tigray sides with Walega, alright. That shouldn't impact that. Shortage of mana wars, okay. Alright. That's quite curious. We are producing mana wars at military shipyards. So why are our... Oh my gosh, we've got 4 levels. Oh no, these are regular shipyards. Military shipyards. We've only got 1 level and it's in Extremadura. Primary issue here is that iron is expensive. Do I have access to the screw frigate method? No. Because I don't have screw frigate yet. Alright, well that's just going to have to be what it is. I'm not going to get involved over here, I don't think. Making protectorates is not what I want to do in Ethiopia proper. I want to be conquering in Ethiopia proper. So we're going to let that be for now. Finances are looking okay. We are paying some interest, however. So I'm not going to build up the construction industry too much just yet. Still having that. Let's take a look at our... Let's see, if we go to precision tools, that's not... Well, it's not going to help anything right now because... Oh, and all these should be on sweeteners. To the greatest extent possible. Because that's going to help us use the sugar in our customs union, which we've got quite a bit of. This Nitsatapi thing I can not worry about. And this one I'm going to declare neutrality. Let me see. The state of Somaliland includes all of this territory here, Warsangali and Isaaq. So let's look at options in terms of taking those over. No one will step in if we take over Warsangali. And what about Isaaq? And Shewa will step in, obviously. Because they're on our side. So, let's, and that'll pave the way for us to grab Aussa. So is that a good thing to do right now? I think it probably is. Finally working on that railway to improve infrastructure in Alentejo. And that is going to fully bring the state into the market. Let's take a look at our budget. We are having a small number of unrealized taxes in Beira, so I do need to queue in another government building in here. So we'll go ahead and do that. That's no rush on that. And let me see. These taxes are producing a good amount of money at this stage. Nothing else that I'm seeing urgently, so I'm happy to continue to leave our authority where it is. Doing road maintenance in our home areas. Alright. Alright, let's get going with our diplomatic play against Warsangali. 2.9 infamy, that's just fine. I'm completely okay with that. And we might be able to use exclusively the Army of East Africa here. Let's see what type of armed forces they have. They have irregular infantry and hussars. Yeah, I think we can do this completely with our local forces. This army is actually full on manpower right now, so I'm not worried one bit. Obviously, that puts us at a shortage of ammunition. We are still getting ammunition from abroad. But that should be fine. Both of those should flex at least a little bit. So, I've got munitions plants in the queue here, right? Yes, I do. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these universities up. I am going to put the munitions plants before them, but after them... but after that, we'll do those universities, and that's going to really help with our innovation. Alright, so we'll set that going from here. Everyone's building banana plantations. Nobody's building frickin' the stuff I need. They all want plantations. I need plantations. They're building them in the Marina Kingdom as well. Marina Kingdom's liberty desire is extremely low, which is nice. Dainam, I'm not about this life. I really need a source of sulfur. Do we have sources of sulfur in Madagascar, perhaps? Great Britain's doing a lot of colonialism over there. Alright, 2 arms. Rubber has been discovered in the Niger Delta. Rubber has been successfully grown in Portuguese Niger Delta. The fragile nature of these trees and their difficult-to-meet conditions makes this achievement exceptionally important. The Amazonian rubber monopoly is finally over. Those beautiful trees have decided to grow elsewhere after multiple unsuccessful attempts, those stubborn little things, and now it is our duty to end those greedy tycoons' empires. I got 2 options here. I can go with this place seems to be the most effective to increase migration attraction to the Niger Delta, or I can go with caution. We don't want to exhaust the supply. That does the same thing. But normally, if we had another place that produced rubber, this would produce migration attraction there instead. I'm going to say this place seems to be the most effective. I'm just always going to do that. That event's going to come up more and more as the game goes on, so I'm just going to continue to do that way. Conditions in Portuguese Togo are pretty rough. I'm trying to get these mines going, but they can't hire. Brutal. Harsh, even. Alright, so here we are conquering Warsangali, and that is the end of that. I think we're going to move right onward to Isaaq, since these are pretty low infamy asks right now. We'll just go ahead and hit that button straight away. And there's that. We'll remobilize the army, and we'll put it on the front. Let's see. So, we are... Alright, we finished out those railways, which is very good. So that's going to make Alentejo better. It's going to make things better in Alentejo. And after this industrial buildup, we'll be building some more gold mines, and that'll be really nice. Portuguese-British Fellowship offers opportunity. The Portuguese-British Fellowship has offered us an opportunity to establish a foreign investment rights agreement with Great Britain. The lobby has offered to use their conditions to smooth the negotiating process. The negotiations, done under the table with a representative of the British government, have been long and arduous. The British representative knew they were dealing with a group without power to match theirs and had adjusted their strategy accordingly. Nevertheless, they had come to an agreement. Nothing in writing, but that was hardly important. When the government sent the official copy, if they did, they would find that it was already a drafted response waiting in London. We would be happy to pursue this as a lobby opportunity, or this is not in our interests. I'm not going to do this. This basically makes it easier to get British investment rights, but British investment rights are how you get pulled into the British Empire, and I do not want that. So this is not in our interest. Contentious topics. An event organized by the movement to enact public schools transformed into a brawl as opponents of the movement infiltrated the crowd. When the police arrived, no participant was willing to give a consistent statement. Most of them had at least one bruise, a cut lip or a bloody nose. His was much less honorably obtained than most of theirs. He whacked his hip against the corner of the table while rushing for the exit, only to run nearly headlong into an approaching gendarme. Two conflicting stories rose to mind. One that he would tell the detective, and one he would tell to his friends. Give them a day in jail to cool off, salty trade unions and Catholic Church, or seek charges with the event's organizers, very angry trade unions. Ooh, this is not great. The trade unions are marginalized, though. That will reduce movement support, which will weaken this movement, and so I'm going to give them all a day to cool off. I do want to get the Catholic Church less upset, but I also don't want to weaken this movement while I can use it to get public schools, which is going to be very, very good in the long term. We're short on bureaucracy. You have a minus 5% timed modifier. How long is that going to last for? Another 11 months. Yeah, I don't need to worry about that. I've actually already got a government building in the queue anyway, so it shouldn't be a problem. I completely forgot I got more gold mines in Transvaal, so that's fun. Okay, alright, a lot. And the movement is gone. Gosh darn it. Vitorino de Albuquerque retires. Santiago de Cunha, a protectionist, now leads the intelligentsia. Interesting. We have lost our leader out of the auxiliary division, so let's bring in a new guy. Let me see. This guy's a meticulous offensive planner, and he's a royalist. Seems perfect for the job. We'll pull him in. And now we've got a 4th Portuguese army once again. Oh, yes, of course. That's from the territory in Somaliland. Alright, that's fine. Let's go with resetting production methods here. No organized training versus centralized training. We'll swap that over. What? Weird. Well, anyway, it's not a problem. The Great Molasses Flood. A storage tank full to the brim with molasses intended for rum distillation has burst, flooding the streets of Bloemfontein's commercial center, killing dozens and injuring hundreds of bystanders. That's got to be in Vrystaat. Bloemfontein. That sounds like a very Boer name for a town. Yeah, that's got to be this. The molasses, waist-deep, covered the streets and swirled and bubbled about the wreckage. Here and there struggled a form. Whether it was an animal or a human being was impossible to tell. Only an upheaval, a thrashing about in the sticky mass, showed it where any life was. Close the distilleries while the wreckage gets cleared, minus 50% food industry's throughput. Or one tragedy must not stop progress, big radicalization. I'm going to go with the first one. I don't want radicalization in the area where I have all my gold mines. Just being honest. Western Australia is improving relations. Excellent. Everyone's getting neutral. Aussa's going to be next over there. Coal mine's getting built. That should help with the coal situation. We've just got tons and tons of shortages. Everyone wants clothes. Netherlands colonized Mauritania. Well, you do that. I'm busy over here in East Africa. So this is why I desperately need my own ammunition factories. 2 armies. I need to find a country with solid, with sulfur and get it into my customs union. That's what I need. Perhaps one of these... Britain, what are you doing? You have done cut Siam in half, Britain. How could you do this? Isaaq. Isaaq I could try and conquer. Let me see. What kind of barracks have they got? I got irregular infantry and hussars. Ooh, but... British East India Company is going to have words to say about that. Oh, interesting. Our relations are quite bad. I'm going to improve relations with the British East India Company. I don't want them trying to mess with me. That'll be an eventually strategy here. What about these areas? Do we have any sulfur? Excellent. In these zones. Not really. Let's take a quick look at the subjects. They're all pretty low liberty desire at this stage. In fact, I could make Shewa a dominion right now. And I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Shabamzo. So that puts them at 69. So that means I can't reduce Guatemala's autonomy again right away until Shewa is at 64 or below. Because I don't want them to get above 75, because that would be a problem. I am improving relations here. Yes, I am. Very good. Again, they are very dependent on me economically, so I am very confident in my ability to do that. Alright, so if we go after Aussa, who is likely to step in? Only Borana. Borana. Here. If we grab Borana, which we could... Oh no, we've got a truce with them. Alright, so let's grab Aussa and Eritrea. They might say yes. If they do, that's just fine. I'm completely happy with that. And they have accepted. Wonderful. So, we will go ahead and swap this over to general training, but I think I'm probably going to cut these hussars to begin with, because I don't need another unit in this army, truthfully. Army of East Africa can get smaller. Alright, we've gone quiet. What's going on here? There we go. Nice. Alright, there's another unification play in Ethiopia. This one, Gojam versus Tigray. So these are both in Gondar. So I think it's fine with me if this goes down without a hitch. But we'll see what the options are. Egypt has started to improve relations. Well, that's kind of cool. I'm pleased with that. I'm happy with that outcome. So what can I get out of this? Borana sides with Tigray. Alright, not going to be a problem. And I have a truce with Tigray, so I can't get involved. Alright, well, that's fine. On the other side, at least. Kaffa sides with Tigray. Oh, boy. They're all getting together against Gojam, but they're not getting together in a way that would, like, allow them to actually be a problem for the front, which is interesting. I guess it only really matters if Shewa steps in. Which I kind of wish they would, but, you know, it is what it is. The whaling industry complete. A dangerous business. The efficiency of our whaling stations in North Angola has proven to be a dangerous counterpart. Has proven to have a dangerous counterpart, and death has become common to almost every voyage. It is a high price to pay, but the profit is equally high. The body of the whale lies as wide as the sky. Its head has been emptied, and the barrels of oil are stained with blood. A voice resounds through the wharf. We lost a dozen men. And then he starts to list them in their towns. A few of them are from the capital. One of them has your brother's name. The oil shimmers, the liquid gold-like blood of a siren, luring men to their deaths. We need to ensure the safety of the sailors, reduced mortality, and increased popularity for Antonio Manuel de Noronha, who is an admiral. But it shines, extra throughput. I'm going to reduce mortality. I should reduce morality. No, we're going to reduce mortality, and that should solve the problem. Alright, this is getting silly. I need a fertilizer factory. I need a fertilizer factory for sure. We're going to put that in Alentejo. Can't neglect Alentejo. Put the furniture manufacturers in first. So furniture's still rock solid. We've built one, but it's not hiring. Interesting. I'm gonna... Okay, here we go. Now we're hiring. Alright, beautiful. So we're going to see what impact that has on the market. Oh, Admiral de Noronha died. That's very sad. Let's throw a new leader in here. Let me see. This guy is a charismatic dockyard organizer aligned with the rural folk. That's the best we're going to have at the moment. Let me see. How long have we been going? We're nearly at the end of the episode. Rubber discovered in Guatemala. That's fine. So I could take Barana. Or no, I don't, because I have a truce with them. Never mind. We'll leave that for now. And we'll kind of get to the end of the episode when we get there. I need to queue in that government... Or no, I don't need to queue in a government admin, because I'm going to lose a debuff. And that's going to be just fine. Cash is doing rock solid. I'm liking this number a lot. Getting that money from Marina Kingdom, getting it from Nicaragua, getting it from Shewa. That is fueling our growth, and that's a really important place to be. I do want to get to the end of the year because I want to see if the Ottoman Empire loses its recognition, because it might not. And I think it's got just until the end of the year to do the thing that it... Or actually, hold on. Still on traditionalism, mercantilism, and land-based taxation. So I think, yeah, I think I've got until the end of the year, because that's going to really sort of impact the shape of the country, the shape of the international landscape. They're going to lose control over Wallachia and Serbia, as well as Tunis and probably Tripolitania, if that happens. So that's what I'm kind of watching out for. We got a situation popping off in Tidor. So we'll help with that. So we will not help with that. That is not my business. Alright, furniture manufacturing is continuing to be built up. How are things going with that? Where did I put them? I put them in Beira, right? Clearly not. Estremadura? Am I a wild one? What is happening right now? I put them in Alentejo. Alright, and they're almost maxed out hiring. So what does that do to our furniture market? We have luxury furniture now. And we still are continuing to build regular furniture, which is just fine. Language in the classroom. Bakongo students sometimes use their native language in Portuguese schools. Some call for teachers to penalize the use of these languages, forcing children to speak the official language of Portugal. You've noticed it too, right? He gets angry when anyone talks in class, but he always gets angrier when we're talking. Maybe he thinks we're talking about him. I just think he doesn't like being reminded that we know something he doesn't. Schools should teach them the proper language. I'm going to do that again. That is going to be what it is. Alright, relations with Shewa are rock solid. How are relations with the Marina Kingdom? Amicable. Excellent. And how are my puppets today? Alright, Shewa is down in Liberty Desire, so that means I can drop the Liberty Desire of Guatemala to a puppet without creating a problem for myself. So let's go ahead and do it. Alright, looking really, really good. So next is probably going to be Nicaragua as soon as Shewa's Liberty Desire falls below 65, which is likely going to be really soon, actually. Alright. Let's go to the end of the week. So that's the end of the Tanzimat, and there is an aristocratic revolt popping off. So interestingly, the Ottoman Empire has retained its rank of major power. It has not lost its recognition. But, of course, it's in the middle of a huge revolt. So we'll see. We'll see what comes of that. Let's see if the diplomacy has... Yep, Shewa's down to 64, which means I can safely reduce Nicaragua to a puppet without a problem. Alright, now I need to relax a little bit, because these ones are getting close to 75. But for now, I can let that stuff go. I've got another rubber rush. I'm going to say this seems to be most effective, same as I've always been doing. Alright, that is the end of the episode. I've had fun. I hope you've had fun, and I'll see you on the other side.